We've been busy. We're in
Fuck
school.
yeah. Caitlin's in like serious school.
Dude, this shit is hard.
Yeah, I'm in like algebra. It's still really fucking hard. So judge me. It's fucking hard.
You'll get into that hard shit soon.
Yeah, but yeah, so we've been studying.
Yeah.
I got a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a job at a garden center. It's fucking awesome. It's hot as shit, but I love it.
Yeah, we just been busy. Life's been happening.
Busy. I know. Been going on. I haven't gone on any trips. Have you?
Nope.
Yeah.
COVID.
I know. Still fucking sucks. But yeah, so today we're going to talk about we had surgery. That's what we've been doing. We had surgery. That's kind of what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about our experiences because they're wild.
Yeah, especially having surgery during COVID and how they kind of do everything differently.
Yeah.
I would maybe a little differently. You can't have anyone go in the hospital with you.
Yeah,
that's the scariest part. We actually ended up having surgery on the same day.
Yep.
One right after the other. Same surgeon.
Yeah, different surgeries.
Different surgeries.
But same surgeon.
Yeah, same day.
So I think that was a little more comforting to
know we were both there.
Yeah.
At the same time.
I mean, we saw each other like one time. That was
I know, but that was right as I was headed off.
I know.
It was a great time because I was tweaking the fuck out.
Yeah. It's nerve-wracking to do that shit by yourself.
It is. That was my first time it's my second time ever having surgery, but not having anyone like there right before you go up to make sure you're okay and hold your hand.
Yeah.
Surgery is serious no matter what fucking surgery you have.
No kidding. And
they kind of minimize it. Wait, so what surgery did you have, Caitlin?
Okay, so I ended up having they call it a cone biopsy. So I ended up having like cancer cells in my cervix. Mm-hmm. So they did a biopsy after my PAP and it came back moderate. So we decided to just do the surgery, and they go in and they remove part of your cervix, and it's like a cone shape they cut out to make sure they cut out all of the bad cells.
Okay.
And it's pretty much, I mean, my doctors made it sound like it was like easy peasy, no big deal. And it really was ultimately, but like, cause I really wasn't in any pain.
That's good.
Yeah, I wasn't, they gave me some like.
You would be in a lot of pain after having your cervix cut.
Right. So they go in, they cut it, then they cauterize it, and then they sew in a
mesh.
Yeah, type deal over it to help with the bleeding. And then they line it with a type of medicine, which is like super gross when it comes out. It's like all black and grainy and shit. You feel like what the fuck's coming out of my vagina, basically. Ah. But they coat it with that medicine, which is probably why I didn't have too much pain, because it's
I'm sure it's a pain.
Yeah, it's a pain thing.
Reliever,
so
yeah.
It was so nerve-wracking. I haven't had surgery since I was in high school when I got my wisdom teeth out, and I had my mommy to hold my hand. So,
dude, right?
That was the last time I had surgery, so I was so nervous. I had, it was so nerve-wracking to sit there and just be by yourself while they do everything.
Well, can I say, not even let alone nerve-wracking to be there by yourself, but to have precancerous.
Yeah, I was trying not to think about that. I was trying to like push that off, like no big deal. Yeah, because it's not like I can change anything.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So luckily they were able to get it all out.
They got all the bad cells and they did a biopsy of it.
Yep.
Another one?
Yeah, they did another like test on it just to make sure, like they wanted to see if the cancer cells were deeper than just like the outside of the cervix.
Okay.
Because usually it'll turn into cancers if they're deeper within the tissue.
Okay.
So luckily they cut it all out. Wasn't in the tissue, like deep in the tissue. It was just on the outside of it. So good to go. But it was definitely traumatic experience afterwards. So they told me like it wouldn't be a big deal, you know. I would have to wear a pad. Like, yes, you're gonna bleed a little bit, but it's like your period, and then that's it. So I was like, okay, you know, I was so anxious the whole time. They were like watching my heart rate because it was so high, you know. I was just so anxious. So I get out of she comes in right before she does your surgery.
Okay.
And she's like, "Oh, I'm about to go do Charlie real quick and I'll be right back." And I was like, "Okay." So she's gone for like 15, 20 minutes. She comes back. She's like, "Oh, she did so good." I'm like, "Oh God, it was so quick." And she's like, "All right, now it's your turn." So they, you know, basically they like sedate you before you go in.
I don't even remember being sedated. That's some crazy shit.
They put it in your IV.
I know. I didn't even know she was doing it.
Yeah. So I was feeling good, like going into the room. And all I remember is getting on the table. And I had to lay like a certain way or whatever. So they're like, you have to like scoot down to the table. And then that was it. I don't even remember them like knocking me out, you know, where they put the mask on you or whatever.
Oh my God. I didn't even go that far.
Yeah. You were out?
I was out. So they take you to this room before you get to the OR room.
Yep.
And I remember she went behind me. She did something with my like IV. She had like a long tube. And I was like, what? I was like, not to be like rude, but like, what did you just give me? And she's like, oh, that's a sedation. And after that, they started asking me some questions and asking how I was feeling. And I was like, I feel fucking awesome. And that's all I remember. And I don't remember the next 3 days after that.
Yeah. So, because I was fully expecting to be like, not remembering anything. But when I came out of I remember everything. Because when I came out, when I woke up, they didn't give me any pain meds because I wasn't in any pain. They kept asking me. They're like, do you want anything? Do you want anything? And I told them no because I really wasn't in pain. But my anxiety was like, I was still having, I asked the nurse if she could sit with me and hold my hand for a few minutes because my anxiety was just, she's like, you're supposed to have anxiety before the surgery, not after. But I think like the whole process is just super nerve wracking anyway. So anyway, I had anxiety the whole time. Before, after, a couple days after, you know. So I was nauseous, so they gave me medicine for that. And then they wheeled me down before they like called to have whoever's going to come pick you up to come pick you up. So I was only down there for a little bit. And then went home, and I was fine. They checked me to see if I was bleeding before I left, and I wasn't. I didn't have anything going on. So I get home. I get inside or whatever. Get home, and I sit down to go to the bathroom, and I feel like that's when all hell broke loose. Basically, I bled so much. So it was blood clots, and
my God,
I couldn't even get up off the toilet because I got off. I remember getting up, and I was going through my pads. I didn't even buy like heavy duty pads, and I didn't have any left over from labor because they made it sound like it wasn't gonna be like hardly any bleeding, so I didn't prepare. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, something's wrong. I'm bleeding so much. Like, this can't be normal because they did not prepare me for it.
Well, no, and let me just say I saw a picture. It was bad.
Yeah, and that was after I had gone to the bathroom a few times, like after I had already like peed out.
So not even the original first time bleeding.
It was, I mean, I was freaking out that I peed. I could feel all the blood clots coming out of me, and I'm like, this isn't like normal. So I remember getting up and reaching into the toilet and grabbing the clots because I wanted to take a picture to show the doctor in case they asked me, you know. And I put it in the shower to take a picture, and then I picked it back up and put it in the toilet. Poor Sherrod, he's like, he had to clean it up. And he's like, we talk about it afterwards, and he's such a trooper. And he's like, dude, I almost threw up. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I just wanted to make sure we had a picture of it because I felt like that wasn't normal, and they needed to see what was coming out of my body because that was just.
Did they see the picture?
Yeah, I showed her. I showed her when I went for my last appointment.
Oh my God.
So I called the office actually because I would get up. I had a pad on, and I put like a really thick blanket down underneath me so nothing would get on the bed or anything, and I was like soaking through that. So it was soaking through my clothes, through the blanket. It was a lot. I was having to wash the blankets and stuff cuz blood was everywhere. And I was like, this is not normal. And coming out of anesthesia and having to deal with that, like you're already freaking out cuz you already don't feel good. You feel all weird and woozy and lightheaded and shit. On top of that, and I was just like, so I called the doctor, and they were like, basically just like wait was what they were saying. Like, if you're still bleeding in the morning, then come in, or like if it doesn't slow down or whatever,
go to the ER or something.
Yeah, go to the ER, come back. So Sherrod was actually really chill, and he was like, don't worry about it, it's like just it'll be fine, drink some water. So I loaded up on water. I was drinking like bottle after, I have a big cup. I was drinking like I was chugging water because the more I got up to go to the bathroom, like the more
the blood would come out.
Yeah. So, and then it ended up being like after hours, and I called after hours, and the on-call doctor called me back, and he was like, he didn't do the surgery. He's just the on-call doctor because they rotate through or whatever. And he's like, I didn't do the surgery, so I have no idea. Like, the only thing I can say is, wait and see if it's like slows down, and if not, then the only thing I can say is for you to come back into the ER. So luckily, because I was peeing so much, I was going to the bathroom, and it basically, like, by like evening time, like 6 or 7 o'clock, it pretty much slowed down, and I was able to contain it, and then it pretty much died off after that. I bled for a while after that, just like
fucking insane,
barely bleeding, but it was insane like that. I didn't even have that much blood giving birth or the aftermath.
Wow.
It was so much blood.
Wow, and you bleed a lot after giving birth.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I was like, luckily it slowed down, and Sherrod kept me calm, and everything was fine after that. But holy moly, was that like the most traumatic thing ever. And then I go into my checkup, which was a week ago, and I told her about what happened, and I showed her the picture. I was like, I took a picture of it, I don't know if you want to see it or not. She's like, yeah, show me. So I showed her, and she's like, wow, they had no explanation for it. She said that she'd never seen that before ever. And she said the only thing she can think of is before they do the surgery, they give you like a drug to help the bleeding.
Yeah, and to
like restrict the I can't remember the word I'm trying to think of, whatever, the blood vessels. So when the medicine starts to wear off, she was saying that she thinks that like they just all opened up at the same time, and that's where all the blood came from. And the clots were coming from because I was laying down, and it was like pulling up, pulling all together while I was laying down. So when I get up to pee, it was just like, and I could feel the clot. Like, I knew the clots were coming out. I could feel them. They were, but also the medicine was involved. So that black grainy shit that they warned me about was also like within the clots. So the clots were almost like black grainy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I would have gone back to the ER. I would have been losing my shit.
Yeah, luckily I had Sherrod. He kept me calm, and I was drinking so much water, and honestly, that water helps so much because you're already lightheaded, and losing all that blood, I felt like I was extra lightheaded. It was really rough. So
you
like the water
for a few days afterwards too.
Yeah. So I had to have him help me to the bathroom because I was so lightheaded that I couldn't like make it there on my own. So every time, like every 20 minutes, I would text him and be like, hey, can you come help me to the bathroom? So because it was literally like clockwork every like 20 minutes because I was drinking so much water that I had to get up and pee.
Damn.
So, but besides that, everything else was fine. I was in pain for a little bit after that, but mostly just bleeding. Yeah, it calmed down a little bit, but you know, I was still like, when I would get up or walk around or whatever, you know, blood was still coming out. And you can't wear a tampon or anything. It's just like, you have to heal. It's just like having a kid. Like, you can't have a tampon. You can't work out. You can't lift anything. You can't for 6 weeks. You can't do any of that. So, anyway, that was my traumatic experience. And we were supposed to be recovering together.
We were.
And I'm really glad that we didn't end up doing it because I
would have taken you to the hospital.
Well, you wouldn't have been able to, but you called an ambulance.
Yeah, I would have. I totally fucking would have.
And I probably would have freaked out and been like, yeah, I'm going.
Yep.
The only reason I didn't go was because Sherrod was like, it'll be okay. Drink some water. Like, he's like, you just had surgery. I think all the blood is just coming out. He was the one that was level-headed, and I was like freaking the F out. I was like, there's something wrong. I should not be bleeding this much. There's something wrong.
Props to Sherrod, because I totally would have freaked out and called an ambulance.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it worked out that we did not. Just because I don't remember.
I think it's crazy that we were scheduled on the same day.
I know. It worked out really perfectly because I did not want to go to the hospital by myself. And just knowing you were just in the building made me feel better. And Dr. Burrows talked to you afterwards. Cool. I can't believe my surgery only took 15 minutes. So. Yeah. So my surgery, I don't know. We've talked about it before in a podcast, but I ripped giving birth, and there was a hole in my labia, and I got it fixed. And
but they had to go in and recut it.
Yeah, they did.
And then sew you back together.
They had to and they cut. There were 2 sides cut. Honestly, when I look at it, I don't know. I don't understand what she did. I do understand what she did, but it just like it looks so differently than I would have think. Not that it looks bad, because it looks like a pretty fucking perfect.
Well, you know? It better be. They freaking cut that shit open and sewed you back together. It better be perfect,
dude. Right? I've been tweaking out. I haven't looked at it. I pulled a stitch a little while ago, and at my post-op appointment, she said it looked fine and the skin was still together. But I can't look at it again because if it's, I don't even know. I just don't want to know. I just want to
can't go through it again.
I can't think about it. This was it was awful. They told me I work at a garden center, so I'm lifting. I'm outside in the heat every day. We only have like one portion of air conditioning, and obviously it's inside at the cash register, which I'm barely at. So outside lifting plants, you know, she said, like, no worries, you'll be fine to go back to work. I had surgery on a Friday. I work Wednesday through Fridays. So they were like, yeah, you can go back to work. No big deal. I got out of surgery and was on fucking fire. It hurt so bad. I asked for something. I said, you just have to give me something. Did not knowing that they had already given me fentanyl and morphine, which I don't understand why. That's a lot. They
wanted to give me medicine. They kept asking me over and over again.
Dude, I just think fentanyl and morphine, like, I've just heard horror stories about fentanyl, but I don't know. But it was on fire, so they gave me 4 more pills. I don't know what the fuck it was, but they gave me 4 more pills. Maybe 2 were for nausea, maybe, because I was totally feeling like I was going to throw up. But yeah, that helped really quickly. So I left there. I don't remember that day.
Yeah, you were effed up.
I was.
That's a lot.
It was a lot of medication. Yeah, no, and I felt awful.
I said that. I told Sherrod how much that they gave you. I was like, they gave her this much shit. No wonder why she doesn't remember the first 3 days.
I don't remember anything, honestly. Honestly, looking back, I truly don't. I don't remember. I remember waking up in the evening. My mother-in-law left, and my friend Katie came and stayed with me because I legit I was complete unconscious, and my baby was here, so someone had to help me with the baby. So I don't know, guys. I don't remember. I remember when I remember after the pain medication would wear off, the pain would immediately come back, and it was awful. The pain was...
Well, all your freaking nerve endings and everything are right there.
Yeah, so It was very sensitive and it was very awful. I did not expect the pain that I would be in. I hate taking pain medication. I don't do well on it. I've hallucinated on pain meds before.
I feel like they make me so sick that I just like would rather deal with the pain than deal with the side effects of the pain medicine.
This pain medication I didn't hallucinate. It made the pain go away within 30 minutes, and then within like 45 minutes I was ready to pass out. And it was like this really like slow, like it didn't feel a lot. Like I've had medication where it hits you and it like hits you hard, and that's when I'm like hallucinating and tweaking the fuck out. This was like a really nice, I hate to say that, but it was a nice, it was nice. But after Sunday, I remember my dad would call me every morning and I would just cry to my dad about how much pain I was in and about how awful it was. So Monday morning, I was in an emotional crisis that I was so like, my anxiety was through the roof. I could barely breathe, like just like doing normal stuff throughout the day. I was crying. It was awful. I was just so emotional. So I stopped taking the pain medication, even though the pain was awful. I told work I was not going to be there because I planned on going back to work on that Wednesday, and that was not going to happen. But my anxiety since the surgery has not been the same, and it's been really bad.
Yeah,
still.
So is mine. I've noticed that too. I'm like, because I ran out of my pills. So I didn't have any for a couple days because they had to call and refill it at the pharmacy or whatever from the doctor. So I didn't have it, and I could tell a huge difference. And like, I don't know, my anxiety. I feel like the anesthesia and all that shit
fucks with you. Yeah. It fucks with you hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I still feel that way.
Me too. I don't like, and it's been like what, 3 weeks since we've had surgery? 3 weeks? Yeah.
3 weeks. Yeah.
So yeah, no, it was nothing like I expected. They minimized the pain. They said, I don't know. I just did not expect it to be that way.
Well, they always just like, oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. No side effects. Like, I'm like, dude, just be real with me. Just tell me I'm going to bleed. Just tell me that I'm going to be in pain. Like, I just don't want to. It's like the same thing with giving birth. Nobody has any idea what's going to happen until it actually happens because nobody prepares you. They don't tell you the truth. So it's just like, I would rather be prepared, and like the bleeding, and I get the bleeding was like a weird thing for me.
Yeah.
And it never happened, so they didn't expect it. But, like, I think that's why it freaked me out, because she downplayed it so much that I was supposed to barely bleed, and I was bleeding so much, so I was like, something is wrong. But if they were like, oh, you could bleed this much, then I would probably be a little more calm and be like, okay. Yeah. But I also had to remember that I just had surgery, so I figured that, I was going to bleed. So I don't know exactly what happened, but shit was like a freaking
that's
horror
really
movie.
Fucking scary. Yeah. No, I just stayed on pain pills for 3 days and don't remember anything.
Which is, you gotta do what you gotta do. That's a painful area.
It really is. And honestly, like, I understand now, like, all the hormones and the adrenaline that's released after you have a baby, it's for a fucking reason. So you don't feel that. I legit, like, thinking back, like, this was 10 times harder than giving birth and not being on no sleep. You at least have that adrenaline and those hormones, and you're like,
Yeah, you were on like, what, 800 milligrams of ibuprofen, and that's it.
Yeah, and I had full on ripped after
it's the same thing, same, same rip, same stitches.
Yeah, and you're more swollen when you give birth, dude. It's like fucking bad. The swelling is bad. Oh,
your
God.
Vagina's the size of your head.
It's bad. So, and I'm like, I would rather do that than do this again.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh my God, if I give fucking birth and ruin my vagina.
I don't know. I don't know how good the scar tissue is now with the second time around.
Dr. B said if I give birth, I'll probably rip in the same spot.
Yeah, it's usually what they say. You usually rip along the same.
I really hope, I really plan on having a home birth next time I have a child, which I hope is a very long time from now. So I really want to do more of like, some people, they like they like work around the area.
I remember when I gave birth to Oakland, they were stretching me out as her head was coming out.
They like, didn't do that for me. Everyone was just watching.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everyone was
she
just
was
watching.
Like, she was like spreading it and like trying to make sure that I didn't rip, and like because they both came so fast that they didn't expect that. So I think she was just like trying to make sure that, because you could see the top of their head, you know, that moment before you push their head out or whatever. So she was like stretching my skin, like she stuck her finger in there above Oakland's head.
I wish they did that for me.
And was like stretching it to kind of like help me out a little bit. And I don't know if it actually worked, but you know that there's certain massages and stuff you do
before. Yeah. I honestly would do my whole pregnant, not like the things I know now. I wish I knew for Cole's, but at least I know now for the next one. Yes, and I honestly, and at least now I know what I don't want going through what I did. The only thing is like I wish Dr. B could still be my doctor and I just have like an at-home birth. Yeah, because I love her so I know she's fucking so much. Awesome. She's amazing. But yeah, no, everyone just sat there and watched. Like he was like his head was there for at least like 30 minutes. Mm-hmm.
Well, his head was longer than that. How you push for hours, but his head was always right there because it was just in and out, because he was stuck on
my pelvic bone.
Yeah, he was stuck on your bone. So they were probably just all like waiting, like they were like, you know, they'd see his head kind of come out and then go back in and then come out. That's gotta be so hard though. That pushing, I couldn't do that for hours. That was exhausting just for the 5 pushes that I did. It was
5 pushes. I pushed a lot of time. I remember being exhausted.
Dude, you pushed for hours. I was like, dang. I'm praying for her right now. I remember sitting in the waiting room and I was just like, because I know how hard that shit is.
I'm glad that they didn't mention like C-section though. Yeah. I mean, after a certain amount of time, don't they mention that?
Yeah. I mean, if they can't get the baby out, you would have to get a C-section.
Yeah, well, at least now I'll rip for the next one and it'll just hopefully slide on out. It better not though. I really don't want to rip because what I have looked at, which I'm afraid to look at it. So the last time I did look at it, it looked pretty. It looks honestly almost identical to my other labia.
Well, that's good.
That's really fucking exciting.
No more hole. Now you can't put like a piercing in there or some shit.
Oh no, I wouldn't. It like I feel so gross, but it like hung and it would like underwear was uncomfortable.
I feel like it was almost like a skin tag, like annoying, like hanging down, kind of hurt when you would like mess with it.
I know. I always ask Jake, I'm like, do you notice a difference? Well, because we can't have sex yet, but like,
has he seen it?
Yeah, and he's like, it didn't. He's like, it didn't even like before. It didn't make a difference to me. He was like,
guys don't care. Sex is sex. They don't give a shit what your vagina looks like.
Dude, if I was the guy and I was going down there, I would definitely. Well,
I don't even
care
know
what
if
it
they
smelled
look
like.
Yeah. Do they? I mean,
I guess I don't care what it looks like.
I mean, I went down on a girl. Let's be real here, because I dated a girl. I didn't even really look at her vagina. I don't know. Do you look at a guy's penis when you're going down on him?
Well, no, because it's in the mouth.
Same thing. You can't see the vagina when it's in your
mouth. That's true, and
mouth.
I guess your line of sight is like, I guess depending on where your clit is, your line of sight might just be like the pelvic bone. I hope it's not that low unless you look in your ass,
Oh, God.
Which, hey, ain't a bad thing either.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Guys just don't care about that shit. Because I always ask, I'm like, does my vagina feel different? Like, after having kids, I'm always self-conscious of that.
Really? One thing I was so nervous about, because after having Cole, the feeling, like, it was really hard for me to have an orgasm after having Cole. It took a long time for that feeling to come back. And, so I planned the surgery. And within planning the surgery is when that feeling, or I figured out, like, what needed to be done. And it made me so nervous. Not that I figured, we figured. It was all figured out. But
mutual effort. Mutual.
But it was like, because your labia has nerve endings, and they don't necessarily warn you, because it's not just the clit. All of that has feeling and nerve endings that affects that. And I was so nervous that recutting it and redoing all of this was going to mess up.
Like, I get it. Like, the scar tissue and stuff, like, mess up the feeling.
Yes, exactly. Because it's been, Cole is almost 2, and it took that long just to get. And, it feels better than it has before, but it took so long for it to get back there.
Like, your feeling sex-wise is totally different. Because for me, I had a really hard time having an orgasm before having kids, and now it's a little bit easier for me, and I don't know, like, I'm not sure what the reason is, but
interesting.
Yeah, but I think sex is totally, like, the feeling is totally different after having kids, it's like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but like for me, I ripped inside, not on the outside, so. But I can feel, like, where, like, my scar tissue and, like, where I ripped. Yeah. So, like, one side is normal and the other side is, like, like, it feels like scar tissue. Like, where everything healed together. Yeah. So, but, yeah, I totally think that sex is different after having kids. But, your whole vagina freaking stretches out. You've got, like, a whole different vagina afterwards. Yeah.
And honestly, a whole different view on sex for me. Maybe not in, like, a bad way, but, like, I'm out of my head more. Like, I kind of, like, I don't know, I've been listening to some podcasts where it's, like, not all about, like when you go into sex, like, you're thinking, like, okay, I want to get off, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's more of, like, just enjoying the whole thing and getting out of your head, like, I need to come, but being like, okay, if I don't come, it's all right. This feels really good, and just being, like, in the moment. And I think that's helped me a lot, because I'm always I'm in my head a lot in general. And I've had, like, some bad experiences with sex in the past. So I think, like, getting out of my head and just, like, enjoying whatever the feeling is. Obviously, if it hurts,
maybe that's what's helped you have an orgasm.
Maybe, but I'm just glad, and just, I really hope
really enjoying the moment.
And not worrying so much about, like, well, I feel like the guy is just, like, majority of the time always going to get off.
Yeah, have you ever had sex with a guy that didn't get off?
Yeah, if they have, like, like, whiskey dick or something.
Oh, that don't count.
Like,
that's not even real sex, man. That's like, let me rub my flab up against you real quick.
Gross. Yeah, it's totally like that.
Like actual legit, like, sex. Have you ever been with a guy that never came?
I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. They always come.
Exactly. So that's my thing. So it's
we fake it. Fake it till you make it.
Right? Make them come for once, guys. Come the fuck on. Learn how to fucking lick a vagina.
But I think it also has to do with, we never, like, explain to them how we like it or what feels good or what doesn't feel good.
I was always taught, it's just, like, I was almost, like, not taught. I wasn't really taught anything about sex. I kind of just, like.
You learn it.
Yeah. I really wasn't warned about very much anything about it. So I just kind of was like, okay, this is how it's supposed to feel. Like, not the best. And I'll just make myself come. So it's like, now I'm like, fuck it. He's going to come. I'm just going to do my thing and do whatever, do what feels good to me, and then worry about him later.
Exactly.
Right? Like, on top. Like, when you're on top and you're just sitting there and you're like, okay, back and forth, and you're worrying so much about if they're feeling good. They're going to feel good no matter what. Their dick is in your fucking pussy. Do whatever you want to make yourself feel good, because it's way harder for you to get off than it is for them to get off. Majority of the time.
No, exactly. I've always had an issue with it. I've always had problems. It's always taken me, but also it could have been I was with very inexperienced, and I was just always so nervous. Like,
I don't know.
Should I say anything? Right, should I tell them that doesn't feel good?
Yes, you should.
No, I've learned
Speak
that now.
up and tell them what you want and what doesn't feel good.
Why are you doing that? That doesn't feel good.
Like, what is this shit? Just slow it down, man.
Oh God. Now I have no problem talking about
Right?
it. But
Me
that's also
either.
because he's, you know, seen multiple children come out of my vagina. So I'm more like, we're open about it, and I'm confident in, like, you know, he's seen that and
Yeah.
he's still here.
Well, I'm just way more confident in sex in general. I feel like I've like learned a lot about myself sexually
I
and
think
about
that's really important. You need to learn about yourself, and yeah,
what
I think
you
that's
like, what you want to try.
And now, like, this world, we're a little bit more open to talk about it. So more and more people are coming out and, like, teaching different things and having different advice.
Exactly. It's
think that
amazing because so many times, like, through my learning about sex, I just learned it from friends, and that's not very reliable because they're figuring it out themselves. You know, so parents, talk to your fucking kids about sex.
Yeah. Warn them. Hello.
Right? At least give them some advice, man. Don't just leave them hanging.
Yeah.
I tell my dad that, I'm like, have you had a real sex talk with Willie? A real one? I don't know. I don't think he has.
Probably not.
That's
Parents think that shit's awkward.
dude,
They're like,
right?
oh, I don't want to talk to them about, you know, I don't know.
Dude, when I found out I was pregnant, my brother was like, well, we all know Charlie's had sex, like, right in front of, like, to my dad. And my dad's like, yeah, at least one time. And I'm like,
Little do you know.
this should not be talked about in front of fathers, but at the same time, like, you should, you know, you're human.
Yeah. Parents think that shit's awkward. So, you know, they just don't have that conversation with their kids.
I hope
and I
I'm
guess
not awkward
in
about
reality, when you're, let's hope, when you're like 16, 17, you lose your virginity. You know, it's not really, you shouldn't be a pro at it the first time. You know, it takes experience.
No one's a pro at it. Yeah, you figure out. My grandmother always told me it gets better as you get older.
Yeah, I believe it. Practice,
So,
experience. You learn what you like. You learn what you
yeah.
don't like.
Exactly. Figuring out yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I agree.
So, yeah, now we have 2 new vaginas.
It's a great day.
Yeah. So, that's our surgery story. We thought it was interesting.
I thought it was very
you guys find it interesting.
Yeah, right. Hopefully. Sorry
Yeah.
if we're gross.
Yeah, I
At
know we
least
get
mine's
into
pretty
detail.
gross. Yeah, but hey, that's what I like about us. So details.
Yeah, so people know
Exactly.
that this could happen to you if you get what the surgery I got.
Yeah, and
Let's
that's
hope not.
honestly like that's. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people, you know,
It's a
abnormal pap
common,
smears.
it's a
that's
common surgery.
It is. I know a few women have had it, and there's a lot of things to think about when you go through something like that. You know, your cervix, that's where your child comes from and everything like that. So it's a big deal, and I feel like that's a normal thing for people to to have done. And
Yeah, it's pretty common. So, you know, you get people, a lot of people have abnormal paps because the cells or whatever, you know, it's just a common thing, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
it is. So if you bleed like I bled, just drink lots of water, give it a couple hours, and then if it doesn't get better from there, then go to the doctor. But don't freak out at first, because it could be like me.
And if you ever have a vulvectomy,
Is that what she called it?
yeah, that's what it's called. A single, because I didn't have both sides done. Single.
Interesting.
I think, yeah. I know it's a vulvectomy though. Yeah. It hurts way worse than they say.
Dude,
and
I
don't
can't
go
even
back to work
imagine all those
for 2
nerves and
weeks.
stuff.
Bro, painful. Heating pad. Ice for a little bit, then heating pad. That's the best.
That helped.
Oh my God, that like changed my life. I think it was because, the blood flow and everything like that. But yeah, and I was told to take Epsom salt bath, but in the paperwork it said did not take a bath. So
Yeah, they told me not to shower until the next day. I don't know why that applied to
Same
me, but whatever.
So you don't get soap up there.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Your cervix is so far up there. I feel like nothing. I mean, you have sex or you put a tampon in, then yeah, it bothers it, but anything else. So I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Well, we hope you liked our episode. I know it's been so long. We're hoping to kind of get into it a little more.
Yeah.
And also, we want to make some t-shirts and some stuff. So you guys let us know what you think about that.
Yeah. We're hoping to get into this more. Hopefully things start slowing down and get
I mean,
a little.
You never know.
Or hopefully we'll just like do this more.
Yeah. Maybe every couple of months we'll come up with a new episode. But,
yeah.
You know. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks we'll put up another one, and hopefully we'll keep up with it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Thanks for staying tuned, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for following us and listening to us.
Stay real momly.
Yes. Good night, everybody.